طيب إن شاء الله we'll get started. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد أشرف الخلق وسيد المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا سهلا. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم أخرجنا من ظلمات الوهم إلى نور الفهم وأكرمنا بمعرفة العلم وزين أخلاقنا بالحلم يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم ربنا إنا نسألك بأسمائك الحسنى وصفاتك العليا أن تفقهنا في الدين وأن تصلحنا ظاهرا وباطنا وأن تجعلنا من أوليائك وأصفيائك وأحبابك. اللهم ربنا عافنا في أبداننا وفي أسماعنا وفي أبصارنا أبدا ما أبقيتنا. اللهم ربنا بارك لنا في أرزاقنا وفي أعمالنا وفي كل ما أعطيته لنا يا رب العالمين وفي أهلنا وذوينا وأحبابنا. اللهم أصلح حال أمتنا، اللهم أصلح حال أمتنا، اللهم أصلح حال المسلمين والمسلمات في كل مكان يا رب العالمين. اللهم فك الكرب عن إخواننا المستضعفين في فلسطين وفي غزة. اللهم كن لهم ناصرا ومعينا ومؤيدا وظهيرا. اللهم انصرهم على عدوك وعدوهم. اللهم سدد رميهم، اللهم سدد رميهم، اللهم سدد رميهم. اللهم أمدهم بمددك وانصرهم بجند من جندك. اللهم انصرهم بجند من جندك. اللهم انصرهم بجند من جندك وثبت أقدامهم. اللهم ثبت أقدامهم. اللهم انصرهم على القوم الكافرين المعتدين. اللهم عليك بمن طغى في البلاد فأكثر فيها الفساد. اللهم عليك بمن طغى في البلاد فأكثر فيها الفساد. اللهم صب عليهم سوط عذاب. اللهم اهزمهم وزلزلهم. اللهم اهزمهم وزلزلهم وردهم خائبين خاسئين خزايا نادمين يا رب العالمين. أرنا فيهم عجائب قدرتك يا رب العالمين. أرنا فيهم عجائب قدرتك واشف صدور قوم المؤمنين. اللهم اشف صدور قوم المؤمنين. اللهم اشف صدور قوم المؤمنين. اللهم اختم لنا بخير أجمعين والحقنا بالصالحين واجعلنا من ورثة جناتك جنات النعيم يا أرحم الراحمين. آمين آمين. أما بعد, Jazakumullah khair for attending today. Inshallah, we're going to be continuing with where we left off last time. Before I get into that, now that everyone's here for the fiqh class, I just want to remind once again, this is the one-day intensive that's coming up. It'll actually go very well with what you're studying in this class. What you're studying in this class is ahkam, rulings, fiqh conclusions, if you want to say. This is the outcome of what is learned in Fiqh 101. What's the foundation of it? Where does fiqh come from? How do people, you've been hearing me mention a lot of different opinions on many different issues if you've been following along with this class. Why is that? Why can't everything just be clear-cut and set in stone? What are madhahib? How did this thing develop historically from the time of the Prophet ﷺ onward? That's what this whole course is going to be about, inshallah. It's also about the sources of Islamic law. What are those? The Quran, the Sunnah, what's qiyas? Why are there scholarly opinions if we have the Quran and Sunnah? A lot of different types of questions that cause confusion for people are going to be addressed in this. This, like I said, you could scan the QR code over there. When you scan it, you're going to be able to register. The registration is for $20. That covers lunch and the book. There's a book that's with it that's going to be given out to everyone who registers, inshaAllah ta'ala. And we're praying that it's going to be a blessed experience, inshallah. It's going to be from 12 p.m. We pray dhuhr at 12:15, and then the program starts after dhuhr and will continue until 6 o'clock, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Barakallah feekum. The subjects that we have today. There are 3 subjects in our book that lead up to the chapter on Salat al-Jama'ah, congregation prayers. Salat al-Jama'ah is one of the most important chapters in Fiqh of Salah because it brings us so many different scenarios that often happen and they need some type of study. What should I do when I'm late to Salah? What should I do when I forget and I'm following the Imam? What should I do if I find out that the Imam's prayer is invalid? What should I do if the setup of the prayer is as such or whatever it is in terms of the rows and the separation? So a lot of different scenarios that are going to come up in Salat al-Jama'ah. What are the 3 subjects that lead up to that? The first one if you look at your book and you're following along with me, page 75 is about ajz, inability. We've already spoken about this subject. And I'm going to summarize it, and that's why we're not going to really need to take a long time with it. What happens when I'm incapable of doing certain motions of salah? What defines ajz? The second subject is about forgetfulness during salah. We also spoke about this. So it's going to be a quick rundown. What happens when I forget a rukn? What happens when I forget a higher recommended act? What happens when I forget a lesser recommended act? What are these statements? If you don't know what they are, maybe it's because you didn't attend our class that was, I think, last week or the week before. But I'll give you a quick rundown and explanation of it. After that is times wherein prayer is unlawful. Al-awqat al-manhi anha. So these are the times that you shouldn't pray in. You can't pray in these times. We're going to explain what those times are all about. So the first two subjects, we're going to get through them quick. We're going to take some time with the prohibited prayer times. We're going to take some time with it, and then inshallah we'll start talking about Salat al-Jama'ah. We're not going to finish it today because it's a bigger subject. Now, ajz and salah. Does anyone here remember, it's been some time, I don't know if you guys would remember. If you took notes, you would remember. But if you didn't, it's okay. Maybe this could be an inspiration to start taking notes. But does anyone here knows what defines ajz and inability? What defines it? To what extent does a medical situation need to be in order for me to be allowed to sit down during a fard salah? There's a hand in the back over there. Go ahead. This is one of the opinions. Jazakallah khair. That's very good. So one of the opinions, so there's two opinions that we stated in the past about what defines ajz, what defines inability in terms of salah. One of them, and this is the opinion held by Imam ibn Hajar al-Haytami in the Shafi'i school, he said that it is that mubih al-tayammum, something that would allow you to do tayammum. What is that? Either it delays recovery, إما أن يؤخر البرء من الجرح أو يزيد, or it increases the injury. It either delays recovery or increases injury. This is a high standard though. What if I just feel a lot of pain? Technically, it's not going to delay recovery or cause me more injury, but it's going to make me distracted. It's going to hurt. All right. What's the second opinion? Does anyone remember? Very good. MashaAllah. Jazakallah khair. MashaAllah. The second opinion is held by Imam al-Ramli, and he's also one of the big Shafi'i scholars. He says that it is mashaqqa tudhib al-khushu'. It is a level of difficulty that does away with concentration. And this is very minimal, of course. So if you had an amount of pain that would make you focused on the pain and not focused on salah anymore, then you have something that would allow you to sit down during a fard salah. That's what you have. You have something that would allow you to sit down during a fard salah. Now, say this might apply. Now here, there's a critical, so everyone's with me on this one, the two opinions, right? The second opinion is a lot easier, and if someone wants to follow that, they're both valid, strong opinions, no problem with following either, but it's different, they're different outlooks. It's not guesswork, right? What makes someone ajiz? Well, what's the point of salah? Khushu'. Well, if I'm focused on my back pain throughout my entire prayer, and I've lost khushu' and it's become this battle between me and my back pain, it makes sense why this scholar would say, well, هذا يذهب مقصود الصلاة. This is going to do away with the whole point of salah. Salah is for khushu' and concentration. It makes sense, doesn't it? Then the other opinion says, well, no, we need to stick to the form of salah to the best of our ability. The only time that we can't is when we truly can't. And that's when what? I'm going to end up hurting my body. Delay recovery or further the injury. So they're both two good perspectives. Now, once I'm past this, I need to understand that ajz may apply to part of the salah or the whole salah. It might apply to some movements. Like, so for example, someone who has knee pain or back pain, the most common examples, will have an issue with sujood, but maybe this issue won't be with qiyam. Maybe it won't be with standing. So I could stand, and I could stand for a very long time. But tell me to do sujood, I will start crying, right? So this person who could do part of the movements, we tell him, you have to do what you could without ajz settling in. So if you could stand up, stand up. And then when it comes to doing sujood, sit down on the chair, right? So it's partial, it applies partially. If someone has difficulty with ruku' as well, then we'll say, okay, stand for the Fatiha, for Takbiratul Ihram and Fatiha, and then when it comes to ruku', at that point, sit down. Okay, so this is the second thing. I'm going to take a step back. The third issue, third point here. This applies to fard salah, not nafil salah. As we said, nafil salah, it's already established in the hadith, right? لِلْقَاعِدْ نِصْفُ أَجْرِ الْقَائِمِ. Right? The one sitting down gets half the reward of the one standing up. Right? And وَلِلْمُسْتَلْقِي نِصْفُ أَجْرِ الْقَاعِدِ. Right? The one who's on their side or on their back will get half the reward of the one sitting down. So this is already established in the hadith. So in a nafil prayer, can you pray sitting down? Yeah, even if you're fully capable. It'll just be less reward, right? But this is for the fard salah. So this is the point number 3. It is for the fard salah. Now, if I am someone who is incapable, ajiz, what must I do in terms of motions? Does it matter? They say yes. If you're capable of doing some motion that isn't the full motion, then you should do the following. This is the standard. If you're praying sitting down, sujood should be further than ruku', right? So ruku', they say, should be, your head should be aligned with your knees. And then sujood, your head should be beyond your knees, right? So this is if you're praying sitting down. So sujood should be more down like this, and ruku' should be a little bit more up like this. This is what's required. And then standing position would be a little bit more straight, like that. This is what's required, but say if you can't even do that. The interesting thing about salah is you are required to do it as long as you have any level of consciousness. To the extent that even if you're on your deathbed, and you can only pray with your eyes, pray with your eyes. They say even do this. Pray with your eyes even if you can't move a limb in your body. Right? So this is the fourth point about this section on ajz that we have here. And that pretty much summarizes everything that's there. Does anyone have any question about ajz and inability? There's one more point. Let's make it 5. And Allah is witr. Inna Allah witr. And Allah loves witr. Yuhibbul witr. Right? Allah loves witr. So let's make it 5. The 5th point is, how should you position your chair when you are in Salat al-Jama'ah and you're sitting down, right? Now, of course, if you didn't want to sit on a chair and you wanted to sit on the floor, can you sit on the floor? Of course. Of course, if that's capable, if that's possible for you and it's easy for you, you don't have to sit on a chair. You choose to sit on a chair if you want to. The issue with our chairs is that they are slanted from the back, right? So imagine you see the rows in front of you here. So the row, I have a row over here in the back. So if I make the seat aligned, or the back legs of the chair aligned with the row, I am going to be in front of everybody else, right? So this is one dilemma some people face. Okay, if I make the front legs aligned with the row, what's the problem that's going to happen here? The person behind me is going to have a really tough time making sujood. So what is the ibrah? Do I care about the legs of the chair, or my legs? Which one is it? So when I sit like this, my legs are in front, right? Now, is it about my legs or my rear? Where is my weight all dependent on? It's dependent on my rear, my rear end, where I'm sitting down. With my whole body, my weight is on what? As I'm sitting down, it's on my rear end, right? So they say, العبرة للقاعد في مقعده وليس برجليه. What's considered for the one sitting down is where he's sitting, not where his feet are. My feet, inshallah, they'll be in front, no problem. I'm going to be in front of everyone else in the standing position. That doesn't matter. I'm only going to stand in the beginning of Salah. Once we go down to ruku', I'm going to sit down. Where do I need to be aligned with everyone else? When I'm sitting down. Mantiq, if I'm going to keep on, some people will make a big scene. This happens sometimes. All right, I'm going to keep it like this. When I'm standing up, it's a job. It becomes a full-time job. I'm going to be like this so I could be aligned with everybody else, standing up. And as soon as I sit down, I'm going to do this. And then when I stand up again, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to drive everyone around me crazy because the chair is going up, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You don't need to do this. What do? Keep this chair like that. Don't bother the person behind you. And sit down. If you're going to be in front of everyone else while they're standing up, ما في مشكلة. No problem. Does this resolve this issue? This is one of the age-old masjid dilemmas. What do we do with the people, or what do the people who are sitting down do with the rest of the row? Right? Everyone clear? Go ahead. Now you can ask those are 5 issues. If you wrote them down, it would have summarized the section for you. If you didn't write them down, Allah inak. All right? Go ahead. Still applies because al-ibra bil-maq'ad. It's not about your feet, because you're not going to be doing sujood like everybody else. So where's your buttocks going to be when you sit down? That's what matters. Yeah. Any questions on this section? Anything relating to ajz? Yeah. Can you pray what? Okay, this is a kind of different subject, because that's not, I understand you might think that's ajz because it's raining outside, right? We said a nice hadith last time. كنا نشكو إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم حر الرمضاء فلم يشكنا. Right? We used to complain to the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم about the burning hot sun on the ground of the desert, and he didn't give us an excuse. So, but I understand, when it's snowing, when it's raining, it might be pretty difficult, especially if it's a storm. Now, you need to judge the situation. If you really can't pray, really can't pray, because you can't pray in the car. Salah is not going to be valid. Why? Because it's going to be missing one thing, which is a rukun, qiyam. And it's likely going to be missing another thing, tawajjuh lil qibla, unless you're able to direct your car to the qibla, which is a shart, right? So here are 2 things. When do we say, all right, we're going to be a little flexible here? It needs to be a really good reason. Now, what's a good reason? Sister's alone, she's in an isolated area, or she doesn't know, it's not safe, and especially with what's happening in the world today, she's scared. Where's she going to pray, right? And she's out and she's far away from the house. So we tell the sister, okay, if you're afraid for your safety, this is an excuse. Pray in your car, and then when you get home, what do? You pray it again. So why am I going to pray in the car aslan? This is li hurmatil waqt. for the sanctity of the time. This is like me saying, Ya Allah, this is the best I could do right now, so I'm going to do it, and inshallah when I get home, I'm going to do it in the right way, the proper way. Now, what's another example? Like so I would just say to this question, judge the situation. If, wallah, the floor is wet and I don't want to get dirty and I have nice jeans on, I'd say, please, يعني كبر دماغك شوي. يعني it's okay. Let your jeans get a little wet. If it's a storm and it's pouring rain, then and it's like it's not safe for you to go out and pray, I'd say, okay, خلاص. Then take the rukhsa, pray لحرمة الوقت. It's not really a rukhsa. Do what you can, pray in your car for the sanctity of the time, and as soon as you get to a destination, pray the salah in full form. So use your judgment. That's what I would say. If you're able, all right, this is again, it's going to go back. ذَلِكَ وَمَنْ يُعَظِّمْ شَعَائِرَ اللَّهِ فَإِنَّهَا مِنْ تَقْوَى الْقُلُوبِ. If I'm able to stop at a certain rest area that has a shaded cover and I could pray in a corner and it's relatively not so dangerous, then do it. Do it. You need to follow some type of thing, but again, this is the scale. Got it? Inshallah. What's up? No. Because the whole earth is a masjid for the Ummah of Muhammad ﷺ. جُعِلَتْ لِيَ الْأَرْضُ مَسْجِدًا وَطَهُورًا. Right? So if you could pray on the grass, then pray on the grass. You're going to get a little dust on your forehead, it's okay. It's okay. People are stuck under the ground in Gaza look how they're living, And sometimes we need to just, if we have too much dala in our system, we need to drain it out, right? It's okay if we get a little dirty. It doesn't need to be a formal masjid. Only if you feel that it's unsafe. Got it? If there's real danger, you're alone, but if you're with a group of people especially, it's a safe area, no, pray. No problem. Do it, right? Even if you're in the airport, pray. It's okay. Alhamdulillah. So, as I said before, how many of you, this is the first time in your life you take a fiqh class, ever? A formal fiqh class? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. All right. A good number of you, first time you ever take a fiqh class. The scholars, they say, there are two types of jahl. Jahl ma'dhur, jahl ghair ma'dhur. Ignorance that is excusable and inexcusable ignorance. What's the excusable one? This is for someone who grew up away, this is someone who's either new to Islam or grew up far away from the ulama. Meaning that, I didn't even know that there's something called fiqh. What is this fiqh? I didn't know that salah had this much. I just learned salah from my parents, khalas. I never knew that there was any of this stuff. I didn't even know I was supposed to ask this stuff. I don't know these terms and these words. So this person, inshallah, is ma'dhur. Now you start a new page. Now I learned, and now I know I could go to Shaykh Fulan or Shaykh Fulan or Shaykh Fulan and ask. Now I have no udhr, right? So I need to start asking. Jazakallah khair. Anything else about this? Yeah. Yes. No, sunnah, not fard. Fard, you can't pray sitting down. Only if you're ajiz. If you're ajiz, no, you'll get the full reward. Inshallah. No, abadan. There's a beautiful hadith that says, إِذَا مَرِضَ الْعَبْدُ أَوْ سَافَرْ كَتَبَ اللَّهُ لَهُ مِنَ الْأَجْرِ مَا كَانَ صَحِيحًا مُقِيمًا. If you get sick or you travel, Allah is going to continue to give you the reward according to the best of what you did. Right? Not the worst. So now I can't do it. Of course Allah is going to give me full reward, inshallah, because I can't. Yeah. It's for the ajiz, yeah. Okay? Yes. Yes. The default is that it is. I need to know that it's not tahir. right? Like if you went and prayed in a dog park, for example, I'd say, okay, don't pray in a dog park, because there's the vast majority of the chance is going to be poop all over the place. Even though in there it might also be clean. But still, we go based on certainty. If I don't, it might be filthy, might not be clean. مثلا I'm going to pray in this mall in some corner. How many shoes and how much dust and how much garbage fell on this floor, Allahu A'lam, is probably full of germs. But what? Germs are not najasa. Germs are something else. Your ilaj for germs, take something with you and make sujood on it. Put something on the floor so that your face isn't on. That's your cure for germs. But for najasa, I need to know that it's impure. Good? All right, let's go on. Next section. Forgetfulness during prayer. We said that there are three possible things that you could forget during salah. You either forget a rukun, a pillar, or you forget one of the lesser recommended acts. These are sunan al-hayat, and there's so many of them. Like what? Like takbirat al-intiqal, when you say Allahu Akbar, Sami Allahu liman hamida, or Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, or Subhana Rabbi al-Azim, or a surah after Fatiha. When you forget these things, these are, so this is the second category. The third category is what? Sunan al-Ab'ad. These are the higher recommended acts. And specifically, what we're talking about here is the first tashahhud. It's the primary one. The second one, this is according to the Shafi'i school, is qunut in the second rak'ah al-Fajr. But that's not as common. And the third one is a salah al-al in the second tashahhud. These are the only three higher recommended acts. Everything else is a lesser recommended act. What do I do with these three categories? If I forget a pillar, what must I do? You guys tell me. Huh? Repeat the salah? No. We don't call it repeat, right? So like I stood up for the second rak'ah, and then I realized, oh my goodness, I didn't do a second sajda. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go back to the second sajda and continue from there. I didn't do it to repeat it, right? So I'm just going to go back to it, all right? And then what do I do also in addition to that? I am going to do prostration for forgetfulness in the end of my prayer. Sujood as-sahw. I'm going to do these two things. I'm going to go back to the pillar and continue from there, and then I'm going to do sujood as-sahw in the end. Your prayer cannot be valid and sahih if you don't do the pillar. You can't just say, you know what, I'll just do sujood sahw in the end, khalas. No, you need to go back to the sajda that you missed, because it's a pillar from the pillars of salah. What? Of course. Stand up, I'm going to go sit back down. I realized, oh my goodness, I made a mistake. Right? We do it all the time in salah. When the imam stands up or does something wrong, what do they say? Subhanallah. Right? And then the imam has to go back. Right? So this is what we do for the arkan. And then we do sujood sahw in the end. Now, this is an important point. One second. Let me explain it, and then we'll go questions in the end, just like we did with the other one. This is an important point. Sujood as-sahw in the end, it's two sajdas. Right? When do I do it? According to what we're learning, you say your tashahhud to the end, and then before you say salam, you do two sajdas, and just normal sajdas. First sajda, Subhan Rabbil A'la, Subhan Rabbil A'la, Subhan Rabbil A'la. You sit up, then you do another sajda, same thing. Then you sit up, and then you say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This is what we do according to what we're learning in the Shafi'i school. There's other madhabs. If someone's Hanafi here, they do it after salam. The Hanafi school does salam first, and then does the two sajdas after that. There's another madhab that does one salam, and then the two sajdas, and then the other salam, right? So that's, well, let me finish, okay? So this is how we do the sujood sahw in the end of prayers, okay? Is this sujood required? No, it's not, right? it's actually a sunnah mu'akkada. It's an emphasized sunnah. So you should do it, but say if someone says salam and then realizes, oh man, I didn't do sujood sahu. Do they have to go back into the prayers and do it? The answer, no, they do not need to go back into the prayers and do it. Right? If they wanted to go back into the prayers to do it, they can do that. Yes, they can do that. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Imam, sajdat sahu. And then he was, oh, okay. He goes down again, and then he says salam one more time. That's it. That's fine. If the imam wants to go back for it, it's no problem. So that's regarding sujood sahu. It's a sunnah mu'akkada. It's not required according to the majority of scholars. The only ones that say it's required is the Hanbali school. That's it. Hanbali school says it's required. The other ones, they say it's not. So this is what I do in terms of arkan. What about the higher recommended act, the second category? The higher recommended act, I will not go back to it if I forget it and I moved on to the next part of prayer. We're talking about first tashahhud as primary example. I get confused if I'm in the second rak'ah or the third rak'ah. So I just stand up right away. The people behind me, they say Subhanallah, so that I could, because I missed the first tashahhud. Do I sit back down? No. Why? Because this is sunnah, it's not a rukun. And you started another rukun, which is the third rak'ah. So you cannot go back to this sunnah. Now you leave it, and in the end you do sujood sahu, and you say salam. Right? This is what we do for higher recommended acts. You don't go back to them, but it's recommended that you do sujood sahu in the end. Okay. What about if I forget to say Subhana Rabbil A'la, Subhana Rabbil Azim? I forgot to say Allahu Akbar in Takbirat al-Intiqal, the transitional takbirs, Sami' Allahu liman hamida. I forgot to say any of these things. What do? Nothing. Khalas, that's it. You just missed out on saying it. There's nothing to do to make up for it. And this, if you look at your book right now, if you have the book, this is pretty much what they say in this section. Right? If the missed action is an obligatory one, the prostration for forgetfulness does not take its place. Instead, if one remembers it soon after its omission, one goes back to it and continues the prayer and makes a prostration in the end. Tamam. But say if a full rak'ah passes until I remember it, now how would this happen? Be careful from waswasa, guys. Now, you're going to remember a rak'ah later, but say if a rak'ah passes and you remember, oh man, I didn't do this in the first rak'ah, we're going to cancel out the first and make the second your first, and then you just add one more rak'ah in the end. But that's just hypothetical. Most likely, if you forgot it and a full rak'ah passed, then you're not going to remember it. Most likely. If the missed action is one of the higher recommended act, one does not return to a recommended action after engaging in a rukun. The thing that I didn't say here, okay, if one has doubts concerning how many rak'ahs, I don't know, is this my third rak'ah or my fourth rak'ah? I know I at least did 2, but I'm not sure, am I on my third one now, or is this my fourth one, right? So what am I going to do? I'm going to take the lesser number. It's my third, and I'm going to add 1 rak'ah after that. Even if that means that I ended up praying 5, it's okay. Because me praying more is better than me praying less. All right? Now, we're going to get to Salat al-Jama'ah, and there's going to be scenarios here. There's a lot of scenarios here. Now, but I'm going to leave it for Salat al-Jama'ah, inshallah. When we go to Salat al-Jama'ah, what happens if the Imam gets confused, and people get confused too? So some people are with the Imam, and some people are another madhab. Some people say 4th rak'ah. Some people say 3rd rak'ah, right? And it gets this confusing thing. What do we do? We're going to talk about that, inshallah. All right. Any questions now on this section? Go ahead.
surah. And then we finish the prayer, and after everybody have a different idea what we should do. Now, what is the right thing to do?
They should have brought it to his attention. So he should have said, Subhanallah. Did they forget too?
We all pray with him the second rak'ah without the Fatiha. Then after he finished, we told him, forget the Fatiha. And then everybody have a different idea. Everybody from right to left.
MashaAllah. Fuqaha. So this is what happens. They should have brought it to his attention. And they should have said, Subhanallah. If they didn't, now what happens after we say salam? Instead of it being a big conversation, like I said before, what needs to happen is you need to correct the mistake right away. The salah cannot be valid without Fatiha. So if we stand up quick, soon after, we just do one more rak'ah, and we don't even need to say Allahu Akbar again. Just stand up and say Allahu Akbar for the takbir of intiqal, and recite Fatiha, kada, 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 and then do the tashahhud, then do sajdat sahu and salam. This is what should happen. If it starts becoming a conversation, then the salah is batila, and they need to redo the salah. If it becomes like, oh no, I didn't do this. Oh no, ma fish mushkila that. Oh, what should we do now? Oh, kada, kada, kada. And it becomes this back and forth. Then, if too much time passes, we say, all right, khalas, you have to repeat Fajr all over again. Yeah. Okay? Jazakallah khair. Go ahead. Ish? Wizr. Maybe he didn't know. If he did it on purpose, but if he didn't know, he didn't know. Maybe the Imam is not the one who led the prayer, he's not the Imam Ratib. Maybe he wasn't Shaykh or Alim or something like that. So he won't get the wizard, inshallah. They just need to do qada now. They need to do qada of the Fajr if they didn't do it. Yeah. This you can find it in the recordings. There's a long class, 2 classes about Arkan as-Salah. You can find it all there, inshallah. Just join the WhatsApp group and you'll find it there, inshallah. Okay? Who else has a question? Go ahead. Are you allowed? You mean in the jalsa between the 2 sajdas? Yeah, you're talking about in the sitting between the 2 prostrations? Whatever. It's not the same. No. You just sit up and then you go back down. You don't need to say it. But aslan, that's a sunnah. So it's even if you said it, it's not going to harm. Whatever it is. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Anyone else had a question? Fadal. No, okay, Jazakallah khair. So this is coming to Salat al-Jama'ah. We have a lot more questions there, right? So, but here, what's for this, the ma'moom has to sit back down. Why? Because it's wajib upon him to follow the imam. Al-mutaba'at al-imam wajiba lil-ma'moom. So because of this, he sits back down. That's the only reason. So it's an exception to that rule of don't leave a rukun for a sunnah. The second thing is the ma'moom is never going to do sujood sahu behind the imam. He only does sujood sahu if the imam does sujood sahu. If the ma'moom doesn't do it, he shouldn't do it. If the imam doesn't do the sujood sahu, he shouldn't do it. Tamam? There was one slight thing that I didn't mention. If the imam remembers as he's going up, he could sit back down. But if he fully stands up, then he can't sit back down for the first tashahhud. Good? Tamam? Anyone else have a question before we go on to the next subject? Any question? Good? Okay. Let's go to the next subject. It is about the times wherein prayer is unlawful. Now for this one, If you're on the WhatsApp group, go to the WhatsApp group. We don't have the screen today, so go to the WhatsApp group. If you go to the description, you're going to see Google Drive link. Click on that. Google Drive link, and then you're going to see a bunch of files here. You guys see where that is? You see where it is? Everyone see that? If you're on the WhatsApp group, you click on the top, Fiqh of Salah, and then you go down, it's going to show you Google Drive link. Tamam? Click on Google Drive link. Under there, you're going to see Fiqh of Worship. And then it's going to open this PowerPoint for you. Fiqh of Worship. After class, you could get into it. Maybe you could look with one of the brothers, inshallah. Okay? Everyone there? Yes? Yes? No? Okay. If you go to the fourth slide, there's two slides here, 4 and 5. It summarizes al-awqat allati tahrumu fiha as-salah. When is prayer prohibited? This picture summarizes it for you. There are a total of 5 categories. They go back to two things. When are the prohibited prayer times? There are certain awqat, certain times that you shouldn't pray. And then there are certain a'mal, actions, after you do them, you cannot pray. What does this mean? Let's start with the a'mal, the actions. After you pray Asr, not when Asr time comes in. There's a difference. Say Asr time comes in at 2:30, مثلا. I didn't pray Asr until 3:30. I prayed Asr at 3:30, an hour later. When does al-waqt al-manhi anhu start? After I pray Asr, 3:30. I prayed at 3:30. Now what happens before 3:30? I didn't pray Asr yet. Pray as much as you want. You know, you have to make istikhara. Should I take this job or not? Should I study this subject or not? And adhan of Asr went off. But I didn't pray Asr yet. I could pray whatever I want. Go ahead, pray. Salawat, sunan, nawafil, anything you want. At this time, because I still didn't pray Asr yet. And then, same thing with Fajr. After praying Fajr. After praying Fajr. Now, say for example, Fajr comes in at 5 a.m. For example. And it gets out at 6:30. I didn't pray Fajr until 6 a.m. But now from 5 to 6, I'm awake. And I'm used to praying Qiyamul Layl, for example. I want to pray some rak'at. I want to pray Qiyamul Layl right now, and it's 5 o'clock. Fajr adhan already went off. Can I do it? And, Yes. Because when does the prohibited prayer time start? After I pray Fajr. And I said, I didn't pray Fajr until 6 o'clock. Right? So now adhan of Fajr came in at 5. I want to pray 2 rak'ahs, 4 rak'ahs, 6 rak'ahs, 8 rak'ahs. Can I do it? Yes. Until I actually pray Fajr, al-waqt al-manhi anhu does not start. Right? It starts after I pray Fajr. You got it? All right. Now, that's certain. There's a third category there during the khutbah. We're going to get to shuruq. Shuruq is a different thing. We're going to get to that, inshallah. But now الفكرة إنه هناك أوقات مرتبطة بفعل أعمال معينة. هي فعل صلاة العصر، فعل صلاة الفجر. There are certain times that are tied to doing certain actions. Praying Fajr, praying Asr. So it's an individual thing. I prayed Asr at 2:30. You pray Asr at 3. You pray Asr at 3:30. The prohibited time starts after you pray Asr. Good? Everyone with me? Well, we're not talking about afdal. We're talking about prohibited. All right? We're talking about prohibited. Yani, afdal is a different subject. Pray on time. Pray on time. But I didn't. I'm not praying now for whatever reason. I have a choice. I really, really feel like I need to make a decision. I need to pray Salat al-Istikhara right now. And Adhan of Asr came in. Can I pray Salat al-Istikhara after Adhan of Asr? The answer is no. You guys aren't following along with me, Kanno, huh? After the Adhan of Asr? I asked after Adhan of Asr. After Adhan of Asr. So, if after Adhan of Asr, I didn't pray Asr yet, I really need to make a decision right now. I need to give the employer my response. Am I going to take the job or not? So, I'm going to pray Asr right now. I'm going to pray Istikhara right now. Go ahead, pray it. It's no problem. The time that's prohibited didn't start yet. It starts after you pray Asr. Good? The third one is during the khutbah of Jumu'ah. Right? When does the prohibited prayer time start? When the khatib starts Jumu'ah. That's a prohibited prayer time during the khutbah, except for what? 2 brief rak'ahs out of Tahiyyat al-Masjid. It's the only thing you could pray. But I go to a masjid, man, I can't understand 2 words this guy says. It's such an annoying khutbah. You know what? I'm just going to pray Salat al-Duha until he finishes. Mathalan. I didn't pray Salat al-Duha today. I'm going to pray 4 rak'ahs. I'm going to take my time. And hopefully by the time I finish the 4 rak'ahs, his khutbah will be done. Can someone say this? No. You can't say this. You can't say this because you don't like the khutbah. It's a prohibited prayer time. Only thing you could do is 2 brief rak'ahs out of Tahiyyat al-Masjid. Then you have to sit down. Right? So these are the actions. The times. What are the times? You can't pray عند طلوع الشمس, at the time of sunrise. Where are these times coming from, aslan? They're coming from a hadith. Why? Because this was a time where abadat al-shams would worship. And this is, like we said, the asl, I'm not min abadat al-shams. I don't worship the sun. Right? But the Prophet ﷺ told us don't pray during this time. So that you're not like them in what they're doing at that time. So this al-ibadat al-asl fiha ta'abbud. The default in ibadah is I stick to the form of it. The why, maybe I'll get some answers for the why, and sometimes I won't. Right? But the point is here, this is for me to learn discipline. Prophet said, don't pray during this time, I'm not going to pray. Right? Sunrise. When is that right now? You see Shuruq right there. What does it say? 6:43. How long can I not pray? They say, it was a rhetorical question. They say, the hadith says that what you base it on is the head of a spear. قَيْدَ رُمْح. Right? Until the sun rises, قَيْد رُمْح. How much is that? They say this is approximately 4 nautical degrees. 4 darajat. What are these 4 nautical? Each degree amounts to 4 minutes. 4 times 4 is 16. So I'm going to wait for 16 minutes to pass, and then I will be able to pray Salat al-Duha after that, inshaAllah ta'ala. So this is the prohibited prayer time. So here we have one prohibited prayer time that starts after you do Fajr. So say if you do Fajr at 5:30 a.m. So I cannot pray until after sunrise, 16 minutes. Now what can't I pray? This is a discussion we're going to have. This is an important part. But now we're just laying the foundations. All right? I want to understand this subject. I'm laying the foundations. Here, the next thing to discuss is, all right, sunrise, then sun's zenith, عند الاستواء. And this is a very subtle moment. This is right before Adhan of Dhuhr. The sun's zenith is its highest point, high noon. Right before Dhuhr comes in, a few moments before it comes in. Right before Adhan al-Dhuhr, there's another prohibited prayer time. The third one is, this is the third one, the onset of sunset. What does this mean? Al-isfirar. عند بداية غروب الشمس. When it's yellowness in the sky. When is this? When is this? This is in the last 20 minutes of Asr approximately. The sky starts to become yellow, and the sun's almost gone. It's slowly going away, and it's very bright yellow, the sky. It's like about 20 minutes before Maghrib. This is another prohibited prayer time. Okay. Now, well, wait, isn't that during the time of Asr aslan? Why do I need 2 times? Who can answer this question? This one might confuse. This one might confuse. Isn't that during Asr's time? Right? No. Okay, no, that's not it. Fard, pray at any time. We're going to talk about this, inshallah. These prohibited prayer times are for a specific type of prayer. Okay, what? Isn't this during Asr aslan? Okay, who could give me a scenario where this one, the last 20 minutes of Asr, would apply without after praying Asr would apply? Huh? Allahu Akbar. There you go. That's the one. There you go. You got it figured out. So the last 20 minutes, say if I didn't pray Asr yet. Still now, this is going to be a prohibited prayer time. The last 20 minutes, if you didn't pray Asr yet, this is going to be applicable to you. The only thing that you could do in this time is certain types of prayers. Does everyone got it now? I know it's very complicated, right? So we have total of 6 things, right? بعد صلاة الفجر, بعد صلاة العصر, وأثناء الخطبة, after praying Fajr, Asr, during the khutbah, and then also when shuruq is happening, and also istiwa, sun zenith, and then also عند غروب الشمس, بداية غروب الشمس, onset of sunset. Okay. Look at the next slide. It's going to clarify everything to you. Inshallah. Look at the next slide. The exceptions. What prayer can I perform at any time without any questions? Fard Salah. There's never a prohibited prayer time for a Fard Salah. The Prophet ﷺ says, مَنْ نَامَ عَنْ صَلَاةٍ أَوْ نَسِيَهَا فَلْيُصَلِّهَا إِذَا ذَكَرَهَا لَا قَضَاءَ لَهَا إِلَّا ذَلِكَ. Whoever forgets or sleeps during a prayer, let him pray it when he remembers it, without exception. All right, I woke up, there's 5 minutes left for Fajr, right? Do I pray Fajr right now? Of course. I woke up and sunrise just came in. I missed Fajr. Do I have to wait until after sunrise to pray Fajr? No, of course not. You pray Fajr immediately. Same thing with Asr. You have 10 minutes left for Asr. Pray Asr immediately. Don't wait till after the ghurub finishes. No, of course not. Fard, you can pray it any time. Whether, all right, now say for example, I missed a lot of salawat. And it's Asr time. And I want to do qada. I'm off today. And I know I have a lot of Asrs that I missed in the past. Now I want to pray extra Asrs to make up for the qada of the fara'id that I missed. Yes, you could do that. Qada of a fard is fard. So you could pray it any time you want. Good? What other type of exceptions do we have? There are certain special places that are an exception. You see that here? Special places. What's the special place that you see under there? Huh? You guys with me? You're all looking at the PowerPoint? All right. Mecca, right? There's a hadith that says, the Prophet ﷺ said, يا بني عبد مناف لا تمنعوا أحدا صلى بالبيت أو طاف فيه أي ساعة من نهار. Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith, don't ever prohibit people from praying in the sanctuary of the Kaaba at any time of day. So when you go for Umrah, is there such thing as a prohibited prayer time? Abadan. No, not at all. Pray after Fajr, after Asr, during Shuruq, whenever you want. In the Haram of Mecca, it's an exception. Why? Prophet ﷺ said so. This is a bayt, it has different rules. Pray all the time in it. Always revive Salah in the Kaaba. Right? So we understand the special place. There's also a special time. One of the sunnahs on Jumu'ah, say you come early. I came a half an hour early. One of the sunnahs on Jumu'ah is for you to continue to do nawafil until the khatib actually stands on the minbar. It's one of the sunnahs. Now if you want to read Quran or Surah Al-Kahf or whatever it is, go ahead, no problem. But one of the sunnahs is to continue to do nawafil until the khatib starts. So there's no prohibited prayer time on Jumu'ah at the time of Dhuhr, right? At the time of Dhuhr, you go ahead, pray you want. This is only on Jumu'ah. Now, what about the nawafil? What are nawafil? They're recommended prayers. Are all of them prohibited during this time? Now wait, there's another type of fard I want to address. Now say, for example, it's a janazah. Say we have a janazah prayer. We prepared the janazah by Asr time. We weren't able to get it prepared early enough. Do we need to wait till night, to Maghrib, to pray on janazah? No, of course not. Janazah, this is a fard kifaya, it's a fard prayer. So you could pray a janazah after Asr, there's no problem with that. No problem at all, right? Now, when it comes to nawafil, not all nawafil are the same. I know this section's a little complicated. There's a lot of details here. Nawafil, recommended prayers. You have a question, sister? Yes. What about it? So basically, a few minutes before adhan of dhuhr is another prohibited prayer time. You technically should not pray in that time. So the only exception... No. Before adhan. Like maybe say a few minutes before adhan of dhuhr. Because it's at high noon, istiwa. This is another prohibited prayer time mentioned in the sunnah. Okay? So at that time, right before dhuhr, you shouldn't pray a general nafil prayer. Right? But there's certain prayers that you can do. So say if, for example, I come in to the masjid at this time, and I want to pray Tahiyyat al-Masjid. Can I pray Tahiyyat al-Masjid? Yes, no problem. I come in to the masjid after Asr. Can I pray Tahiyyat al-Masjid? The answer is yes. According to what we're learning here, yes, you can pray it. Do all shuyukh and scholars say this? No, there's a difference of opinion about it, right? So, but you can pray because why? The sabab is mutaqaddim. This is the thing. So if the cause for the salah precedes the salah, then you could do it. It doesn't. The ruling for the prohibited prayer time doesn't apply to it. What's the cause for Tahiyyat al-Masjid? What's the cause for cause? Good, mashallah. Entering the masjid. What's another example? Sunnat al-wudu. What's the cause for Sunnat al-wudu? Making wudu. What comes first? Making wudu or praying the sunnah for wudu? Of course, making wudu, right? What else do we have here? The rawatib, the sunnah that's linked with the fard. Like the 2 rak'ahs before dhuhr, mathalan. This is ratiba. The cause for it is what? Dhuhr entering. Is that before I do the salah or after? It's before. Of course, now when I clarify, what's something that has a cause that's after? What's something that has a cause that's after? No, the cause for it. All right, now this happened, now you could pray sunnah. What's the thing that happened? Dhuhr came in, that comes first, right? Now you could pray the dhuhr. All right, what's something that the cause for it comes after it? No. Cause يعني سبب علة. يعني فسبب سنة الفجر إيش هي؟ دخول وقت الفجر. Right? So the Fajr time enters, هذا يعني إنه مطلوب مني الآن سنة الفجر وفرض صلاة الفجر. Right? Simple logic. Okay, is there a salah where the cause for it comes after it? No, you're overcomplicating it. The clear example is istikhara. Clear example is istikhara. All right, you guys know Salat al-Istikhara, right? When you want to ask Allah to choose for you, I want to take this job, I don't want to take this job, right? What's the cause for this 2 rak'ahs that I'm praying now? The job I'm thinking of taking, does this come before or after? Something mustaqbali, right? Salat al-Hajjah, I'm having a really big problem and I need Allah to help me figure this out. Is that going to happen before the prayer or after the prayer? It's the future, right? It's after. So what can't you pray? Now here, I'm going to make it simple for you. What can't you pray during the prohibited prayer time? One is a salah that doesn't have a cause. Nafil mutlaq. You know what? I have some free time. I just want to pray 2 rak'ahs hik lillah. I want to do sujood. I want to have some free time. I'm going to tell you, don't do it in the prohibited prayer times because that's haram. Don't do it there the prohibited prayer times. It's haram to do it then. The other thing, this is number 2, is the prayer that has a cause that comes after it. Like what? If you don't want the categories because this is bothering you, here's the prayers that are not allowed to do. Nafil mutlaq, nafil that has no cause, 1. Salat al-Istikhara, 2, right? Salat al-Hajjah, 3, right? Then the other one, that's pretty much it. These are the ones that you can't do. Everything else you can do. What can you do? You could do anything that has a cause that precedes. Like Tahiyyat al-Masjid, Sunnat al-Wudu, like Sunnat al-Tawaf, like Sunnat al-Ihram, like the Rawatib. Now say, I'll give you an example. I prayed Fard al-Asr now. But I came in and the Imam was already in Salat al-Asr. So I didn't get to pray the Sunnah before. Can I do the Sunnah now after Asr to make it up? Yes, sure. Many people say, oh no, you can't because Sunnah, you can't do it after Asr anymore. But no, you can. The one you can't do is the Sunnah that has no cause, or it's like Salat al-Hajj or al-Istikhara. I missed Sunnat al-Asr before, can I do it? The clearer example is in Sunnat al-Fajr, because this happens so much, right? Sunnat al-Fajr, because a lot of people don't pray Sunnat al-Asr because it's not Sunnah mu'akkada. But Sunnat al-Fajr is Sunnah mu'akkada. It's one of the most important Sunnahs. I prayed Fard Fajr with the Imam. But I missed praying the time for Sunnat al-Fajr. Can I do it after the Fard? Oh, yes. So what made you say yes for Fajr should make you say yes for Asr. It's the same thing. There's no difference between Fajr and Asr in this regard. So I do Sunnat al-Fajr after the Fard if I didn't get a chance to pray it before. Or mathalan, I'll give you another example. I'm praying at home and there's 5 minutes left for Fajr. I can't pray the Sunnah now because I'm going to miss the Fard. I'm going to pray the Fard and then, hey, you know what? After I just finished the Fard, the alarm is going off. It's Shuruq time. It's Shuruq time. Can I pray Sunnat al-Fajr during Shuruq? Yes, no problem, because it's a sunnah that has a cause. You're all with me? You're following along? Right? So any prayer that has a cause that precedes it, sabab mutaqaddim, aw muqarin, but let's not confuse you. And then you could do all of this, or a fard prayer, you could do all of this at any time. No problem. The ones you can't do, nafil mutlaq, salat al-istikhara, Salat al-Hajjah, right? And those are the main ones, right? Those are the main ones, huh? Yes. Yeah, because you're making tawbah for something that already happened. Yeah. Yes. Yes. So here's the thing, it does. But you could do qada of a recommended prayer just as you do qada of a required prayer. Any prayer that has a time slot, you could do qada of it. So this is an important thing. And this happened actually with the Prophet ﷺ. Prophet ﷺ, in one of his travels, they slept during the night and they only woke up after the sun had risen. So what did the Prophet ﷺ do? He prayed Fajr and then he did qada of witr, and he did the qiyam that he missed from the previous night. So you could do that. There's no problem. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes, this is a good question. So now I'm in the masjid and I'm with the imam. We just did dhuhr and asr together. We just did dhuhr and asr, and it was jam' taqdeem. We did it because of the rain, for example. I didn't get to pray my sunnahs. I want to pray my sunnahs. Can I do them now? Of course, no problem. Even if you already prayed asr, you could do qada of those sunnahs you missed because of jam'. Good? Good? What? Yes. Yes. Yeah. Because you had a rukhsa for jam'. So now you should only do the things that are allowed to be prayed after asr. Good? Does anyone have any questions about this? Yes. Wudu salah? Can you do it during the prohibited time? Yes, no problem. Anytime. Yes. No problem. Anytime. Absolutely. All right. Now, just look quickly at the section and then we'll be done for today. Let's look at it. Look at what he says. It is unlawful to perform a prayer that lacks a cause. Lacks a cause. Yani it is nafil mutlaq during 5 times of the day. This means that during 5 particular times, one should not pray a non-obligatory prayer unless their prayer has a cause that is concurrent with the prayer or occurs prior to the prayer's performance. Yani sabab mutaqaddim or sabab muqarin. I didn't tell you about the sabab muqarin. What's the prayer? What's the cause that has a prayer? What's the prayer that has a cause concurrent with it? Sabab muqarin. This is salat al-kusuf wal-khusuf. Because when do you do the eclipse prayer? When the eclipse is happening. That's the cause for it. It's right now, at the same time. Right? You should pray right now as the eclipse is happening. After the eclipse is done, you can't even pray it, even if you wanted to. You can only pray during the eclipse. That's the only example for that one. Right, so then an example of a cause concurrent with the prayers is the eclipse prayer. When one starts the prayer at the same time as the cause, namely the eclipse, and continues throughout the time. An example of a prayer of a prior cause, sabab mutaqaddim, includes praying 2 rak'ahs upon entering the masjid, where the cause for prayer is entering the masjid, and it comes before the salah. Another example is making up a missed prayer, where the cause is missing the prayer. What? I missed salah. Now I missed sunnat al-dhuhr. I missed fard al-dhuhr. The prayer that is prior to it being performed as a make-up prayer. Right? So the first time is when? After the dawn prayer. After salat al-fajr until what? Sunrise. The second time is from the beginning of sunrise until its completion. And the sun has risen 1 spear length above the horizon, 16 minutes. The actual time can differ between individuals since it is tied to when each one prayed dawn prayer, right? Taken together, the first 2 times mean that after praying Fajr, you should not pray any prayers until about, he says here 20 minutes after sunrise. But what I learned was 16 minutes after sunrise, 16. So the third time is when the sun is at its zenith, except on Friday and except when one is in Mecca, right? So these are 2. The fourth time is after mid-afternoon prayer, Asr prayers. Until when? Until Bidayat al-Ghurub, the onset of sunset. The actual time differs between the individuals since it's tied to when you pray, right? So he's basically saying everything I just told you guys. And that's pretty much what we have for this section. Does anyone have any questions? Yes. Yeah, the zenith thing is maybe like a few minutes before, like 3-4 minutes. You could continue to pray whatever you want until about 3-4 minutes before adhan. And that time you should only pray the things that have a cause, or it's like qada, makeup. You got it? Any other questions? Go ahead. No, pray the Fajr first, of course, because you don't want to miss the Fard Fajr. And then, yeah, so pray the Fard Fajr first, because that's awla, because it's a Fard. And then you make up the Sunnah. So it's awla bil qada. Now they're both qada. Now which one has priority? Fard al Fajr, right? Yeah, that's preferred. Yes. Can you pray this? You shouldn't. You should not pray the sunnah. You should join the imam. Now here, there's a different opinion. What if I already started the sunnah? So if the iqamah is going on, what the Shafi'i scholars, they say, no salah can be prayed except the imam's prayer. So you should say salam and join the imam. What the Hanafi scholars, they say, if you started the sunnah, pray it, continue it and finish it, and then join the imam. So the Hanafi school is different on this issue that you're asking about. So what the Shafi'i scholar would say to your question, no, join the imam, and then do it afterwards. What a Hanafi scholar would say, pray it quickly, and then join the imam. So both are madhabs that are there. Good? All right. Now, we usually get questions through Slido, guys. As I've been doing, we'll answer. I know I'm a little backed up on the questions. Inshallah, I'll make up for all the questions during this week. All the Slido questions, inshallah, I'm going to answer them in the WhatsApp group, بإذن ta'ala. Jazakumullah khair. Subhanakallahumma hamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.